Should Christians own a business, and do those paths even line up? Today, we're going to talk with two local business owners on how to balance the struggle between faith and business.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shieldmaidens podcast. This is the place where we hope you'll come to be raised up to be a warrior for Christ, while also learning how to fight back against the enemy. And the whole time we really just want to point you to Jesus. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Riley.
We're your hosts. Thanks for being here today. We have another really fun conversation with a couple of friends lined up with us today, and I think it's going to be a really good one. But before we do that, I just want to remind you, if you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. That would really help us out. Like, comment, share our videos. And then if you're listening on the audio only version, go ahead and follow us there and leave us a review. That'll help spread the word too. So, yeah. But with that, we get that out of the way. That's my thing I'm saying now. We're getting all the business out of the way, and now we can do the fun stuff.
The fun conversation.
Today, we're going to talk a little bit about being a business owner and a Christ follower at the same time. Do they overlap? Do they intersect? Like, should they intersect? Yes. Yeah, because there's probably, I would imagine some people have strong opinions on that. But but we're going to talk about that. And we've got two amazing friends with us today, business owners, friends that are here with us that we get to talk with and get your personal experiences and stories with that. So, if the two of you want to introduce yourselves really quickly, just tell us who you are, what you do, your family, whatever you want to say. Like, just let people know who you are.
I'm Kate Potter. I own American Honey in Darmstadt, Indiana. I have 4 children, and I've had a business for 11 years. I've had the storefront, American Honey storefront, for it'll be 7 years on March 3rd.
Wow! Yay!
So yeah. We're busy. We have cows and chickens and bees. So anyway, my husband works full time as a UPS man. So anyway.
Awesome. You have a lot going on.
I don't know how to not be busy. So I think there's a mental health thing with that. But anyways,
we won't talk about
that's
that.
That's how we function.
That's a different conversation from today.
That's definitely how we function. So
yeah,
it works.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And I'm Randa. I've known Kate for probably a dozen years. And my background is in corporate America, actually, and kind of where you have those golden handcuffs, great pay, but you don't kind of get to be who you want to be. Also have a background in television news, and then transformed into an entrepreneur where I now kind of juggle a few different things, an online business and property management, and also a local boutique. I have 2 kids and a bonus kid of an exchange student this year, which has been a blast.
So fun.
And been married for 20 years to my wonderful husband, Andy.
Aww.
Used to live on a chicken farm, but I don't have cows and chickens like Kate anymore because I'm not that crazy. Actually, her name in my phone is Crazy Chicken Lady. You don't know that?
You're kidding.
Her face.
Yeah.
It's like a term of endearment.
That's a good thing.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Chicken lady. I love it.
There's worse things I could be called for sure.
Oh, there are definitely worse things. Yeah.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah.
Guys, we're glad
Thanks
that you're
for
here.
asking.
And when we were sort of like tossing around this conversation that we kind of wanted to have about business, like we both thought of you guys like right away. So thanks for coming on. And I mean, you're both like boss babes in all the ways, like in a good way. I mean that in a good way. I know sometimes people think that's, a negative, but if you guys want, we can just start with Randa. You mentioned a little bit about what you do, but if you both just want to like tell us a little bit more about your business, why you started it, how you started it, like, just how things kind of got off the ground. Did you go into it like intending to start a business, or did it just happen? Because I know that happens too. So
Been there.
Yeah, I've been there too. So whoever wants to
I
go
can
first.
start. So I actually worked at St. Mary's, a local hospital, for 10 years. And then once we had our 3rd child, it really wasn't worth me working full time anymore. So I still stayed on PRN and then started embroidering because I wanted to make my kids' birthday shirts. Actually is where it started. My mom knows how to sew. And so we tried to like embroider a shirt, which if I showed you that now would be super embarrassing. It looked like a 3rd grader did it, but Owen wore it for his 3rd birthday. And then anyway, so I was like, I want to do this like for my children. And so I bought an embroidery machine, which was kind of a big deal at the time because we were really living on one income. And so it was a big ask from my husband, which now in hindsight, it's almost funny. But at the time, it was a big deal. And so we purchased that first embroidery machine. And then people that I worked with started purchasing from me. So I started making a Facebook page so they could see, because they'd be like, what do you make? So I made a Facebook page, and then it just went. And then I started doing local craft shows because I'd have like extra or samples or whatever. And then my husband was like, okay, maybe we need to do a little bit more. So people, once you do local craft shows, then they think they don't want to pay shipping. So then they show up to your house all the time. So my dog didn't bark anymore. My kids, like, I really couldn't let him go outside and play unless I was out there because people were coming at my driveway all the time, which we do live out. And it's not a short, like, drive, you know, they can't, there's no sidewalk. But anyway, and so there was a local store, almost consignment in the space that I am now. But anyway, I knew she was closing. And so she had told me that my check was the biggest check, like kind of gave me some strength because it's scary and you don't know, like, can I pay bills with this? I don't know. And so I was like, well, if I could take over her space, it was only 5 minutes from home. My kids could get off the school bus there, whatever. And so that's what we ended up doing.
And that was in 2018.
18.
I was going to say 17.
Pre-COVID.
I remember when you were talking about it, our daughters were in the same like dance class at the time, and you were like, I think I'm going to open a storefront.
And everyone thought I was insane.
No, I didn't.
Well, I shouldn't say everyone.
I was like, yes, 85%. That is what you need to
the
do.
dance moms were fantastic.
Yeah.
There were
I remember being so excited for you.
multiple other moms, especially that were in my circles, that did not have kind things to say.
Oh, really?
They were very like, Kate, I don't think you know, one was a local owner. She told me even after I opened that I should stop doing all customs and just do the boutique side. And my heart is in the customs. Boutique is fun. It's a little easier to sell. But that's not what I enjoy doing to a point. It's all fun to a point, right? But so that was hard. I had another mom who was super supportive. I'm sure you remember Alyssa. And she offered to split it with me to go in 50-50 to get me started. And that was so kind of her. And I still think highly of her. But that wasn't, my biggest issue wasn't the financing or financial. My biggest issue was me, was how scared I was. Yeah. And still some days I'm scared, you know. But anyway, you learn a lot about people when you decide to make a jump like that. Yes.
A big decision.
Yes. Who's really on your team. Yeah. And some of them were coming from a good place.
Of course.
I don't want it to sound like that, but yeah.
And I think most people probably have good intentions. If it's someone that you know and that's in your life, they mean well.
Yes, for sure.
You know, but they're trying to steer you, but that can be discouraging.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so it's been
that answered the question.
So that was 2018. So almost 7 years.
It will be 7 years. Our open house is March 1st. Our official first day being open was March 3rd. Okay. I left the door unlocked and let people trickle in before that. Again, you're so scared. You're like, I don't even know if my point of sale system's going to work. But, you know, so you let people trickle in if they need to or if they want to, whatever. And so, that was how that started.
And you do custom embroidery, and then you also have a boutique side of like
linens, so we do all apparel decorating, not just apparel either. We do mugs, mouse pad, whatever. But I personally embroider all the embroidery is me.
Is you.
I have an amazing team of girls that do most of the rest for me.
Is it screen printing?
Screen printing. Yeah. We do sublimation. We do multiple different types of printing. But all of that I seem to be easier to teach and let go. Yeah. The embroidery is my deal, and I'm super protective about it.
Well, and you enjoy it. Right?
That is what I want to do. Yes, that's what I enjoy doing. We also engrave now. I left that out, but I keep picking up things. I probably need to reel that in.
I have a really awesome Shieldmaidens cup that my friend Riley got me.
Kate
made. And it's beautiful, and I use it every day.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
my daughter's always like, anything that goes wrong, Kate could fix that, or Kate could do that. It's probably true.
That's probably the truth. Kate can do that.
Well, Kate can fix it.
No, that's sweet of you all, but there's a lot I cannot do.
Oh, very creative.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Of course.
Randa, what about you?
Well-
How'd you get going?
Let's just think about it here. So
Because you've got
I think a
multiple
lot of
things.
us probably grew up in that era where our parents worked really hard and wanted us to go to college because maybe they didn't get that chance.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, my parents are in their 80s now, and college wasn't a thing for them really, where they grew up, and they just kind of went into industry or being a stay-at-home mom. And my parents really always talked to my sister and I about working hard, you know, getting the grades, being involved in activities, going to school, and getting a job.
Yeah.
And so that's really all I knew. But I did always have this passion in me. I wanted to be in TV news when I was a little girl. And I got to follow that, which was so cool. Great experience. Couldn't do it now because I'd be like, you want me to do what? No, that's not
I remember
even real.
watching you at like early morning. I remember watching you on early morning.
It was fun.
news.
It was such a blessing. I got to do so many awesome things.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the future that God had in store for me, but it was part of my story. And so I started out, you know, went to school, did those things, and I got involved, kind of recruited into the pharmaceutical industry and medical sales. And so I did that for a while. And that is the kind of golden handcuffs where you make great money. But I was gone 2 to 3 nights a week, overnights. I was still nursing a baby. I'd be driving down the road with a breast pump and a cover on. Oh, hey, director, you know, 2 nights a week. I'm going to get kicked off the show already. 2 nights a week, overnights. You know, sometimes I'd have to go to New Jersey for like 6 weeks at a time. Just a very busy time. My husband's a police officer. He's also busy. And I think God was already working on, well, probably from obviously the time we were born, what he really wants us to do. And somewhere around the time of being pregnant with my daughter, my second child, who's almost 13, God unleashed this creative side of me that, listen, I almost failed home ec. Okay. Like, I'm not Kate. My home ec teacher wanted us to sew a skirt, and I got mad because I'm like, I don't have time for those in basketball and school and blah, blah. So stapled it together just to prove a point. Okay. And because I'm like, I don't need home ec. I don't need to know how to cook, all these things, because that was just not who I was then. But somewhere along the way, I still don't cook, by the way, but God unleashed this creative side of me and this entrepreneurial spirit. And I didn't know where I was going with this. At that time, I was probably just like chasing the dollar, right? And so I started randomly making, do you remember when I started making those hair bows?
Oh, yeah.
That was pre-K. These like crazy looking hair bows and hair accessories and stuff because I was having a girl. You know, I was so excited about having a girl. And that kind of went crazy. So I would be up like gluing stuff together. I don't know how to sew, like Kay, just gluing stuff together because I didn't pay attention to home ec. And making these things, and people were actually buying them, which was so weird to me. And then it kind of evolved into these wedding sashes. And then I had an online clothing business.
I did not know that you did this stuff.
I know. It was called Cha-Cha Style after Charlie. Yeah.
I did not know that.
So that kind of actually unleashed that entrepreneurial spirit into what it is now, which if you ask me then, what it's turned into, and not the business side of it, but the being able to disciple side of it and the mission side of it has been crazy if I really think about it, because that went from, you know, kind of doing the side hustle thing, making myself more busy, like the devil wants us, right? To something kind of falling into my lap with a direct marketing company, and had no intention of doing anything with it. It was face cream. I wanted my face to look better. You know, I was like tired, and that gave me way more than a great income, a global business, and all of that for the past 11 years has been, you know, primary income for our family, but also given us this great group of women where we not only do leadership retreats for business, but also have grown together in our faith. And when I was on my first incentive trip with that company, I remember seeing this group of women praying and worshiping together on a Saturday. And this is at the time where I was like trying to decide, do I get rid of corporate America? Where they're like, don't go say Merry Christmas in an office. You don't know if that's okay. Don't do this, don't do that, you know, to going on this incentive trip that I had earned. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. It was like blind leading the blind. And thinking, oh, this is a little crazy here. I don't know if these are my people. And then I walk out on a Sunday morning thinking, these are my people, to right out in front of my room, these women worshiping. And I just burst out in tears thinking, This is, maybe what God wants me to be a part of. And that led into so many more things, to the point where for every year on our incentive trips, I got to help lead a worship service. Last year,
that's
we
cool.
baptized like 5 people in the pool.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
At a company
Right.
event.
Like this is not a faith event.
So many things have happened
Yeah.
with that, from the conversations you have, from being able to be like open about your faith, where in corporate America, you're like, you can't do this, can't
Right.
say that, can't, but everything else is okay. And the way of the world is okay. But you're not okay if you go and say Merry Christmas to somebody, right? So that happened over the last 11 years, which has kind of also just unleashed some other things. I accidentally like to do a lot of things, but it's given me the opportunity to do them at my pace.
Yeah.
And I should say God's pace, really, because He's given me time with my family.
Yeah.
And time with women. And
Yeah.
it led into doing permanent jewelry. Who would have thought? Like, I'm a welder now. First, I was stapling stuff together. I weld jewelry together. What is that?
come
Like,
a long
God,
way
you were
from the
so
stapler.
cute, And, I remember when I was trying to make a decision to leave corporate America and do that full time, I had just been praying, God, give me a sign. Give me a sign that this is what you want to do. You don't want signs. Like, He's not a tarot card reader.
Right.
You want those witness affirmations. And what He brought me was all these witness affirmations of women giving me these God wink examples of how when they were able to let go and surrender and do what God wants them to do, and keep that mind on Him and the focus on Him through it, and giving Him the glory for it, and being able to get on stage in front of so many people in a company and giving glory to God.
Yeah.
That I knew that's what He wanted me
Incredible.
to do. And on the day that I had prayed about, I think it was like locked into my 401k or something like that. I kept getting all these witness affirmations of this little 30-second article that said how to know when to open a door that God's opening for you. And thank God it was 30 seconds, because at the time I was like, I don't have time to read that, because it was. And so I got to let go of that corporate America, which has led into this. And then now I accidentally have a boutique, and Kate's one of my closest friends. And if she knows, well, that was a total accident too.
Yeah.
But that has also led to.
I feel like a year before you said I'm
I was
opening
like,
a
I don't do
boutique,
that.
you said I don't need a boutique. I don't need one. I won't open a boutique. I don't need a boutique.
I don't
Whatever.
yeah.
And then
And then God
So
laughed.
many.
Bam.
I think that it's given us so many opportunities. My sister's in mission work, and she always says it doesn't matter if you work the drive-through at a fast food station or you're a pastor, you have an opportunity to be a missionary.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
just opportunities like working on people with their jewelry. Maybe they're going through something and they see a prayer board and they're open to praying with you or putting something on the prayer board. I had a guy come in the shop the other day. He said, remember when you put something on your prayer board about infertility with me and my wife? Guess what? My baby's 5 months old now.
that's awesome.
Like all these really cool things. When you just kind of surrender and you make sure
Wow.
that you're giving glory to God in your business.
Yeah.
So I know that was kind of a long answer, but
No.
there you go.
No, I love it.
So I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I just want God at the front of it.
That's all right. And
the center of it.
he may change it. Like,
Yeah.
fortunately, like,
Right.
is what
Right, you know
we
that.
have learned. Yeah.
Is anybody here doing what they studied in college?
No.
I
No.
did get an art degree, but
what I did.
yeah, I was really surprised.
What did
with
you-
yours.
what did you go to school for?
Yeah.
I actually have 2 degrees. I
Oh,
have
smarty
a,
pants.
I have a bachelor's in architecture,
Uh-huh.
and I have an MBA.
I didn't know you had an MBA.
What?
You didn't tell me that.
I do. I got that while I was pregnant with Arya.
So
Wow.
yeah, I have an art degree, which I guess I'm using now, but I didn't. And then I have nursing, and then I have a master's in nursing,
Wow.
but I'm not using it.
So no, not using those.
So yeah,
Right.
Business kind of, but
you're
That's in
definitely
everything.
you're definitely using that, but yeah, yeah, God's funny about stuff
he is.
sometimes.
So cute.
with that.
Shaking
He's
up
so,
on you.
he's so
Oh my God, you're
cute.
so
yeah.
So cute.
Like you just
Yeah.
surprise us all the time. You're funny. Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
like you. I remember the day you came into my
I was
shop.
so nervous to come talk
Oh.
to you. That's so silly. I
She
just
came
was,
into my shop. I thought somebody in her family.
She thought
she's
somebody was
sick,
dying,
something.
'cause
Well,
I
she
was
looked at
like
me
a
and just
wreck.
lost it and said, "God wants me to stop making jewelry." But after she goes, I got to tell you something, and then pause. I'm thinking 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Lindsay's sick.
she
Somebody in her
thought
family's
someone
sick.
was-
She's mad at me. Like all these things, and she's like, "God wants me to stop doing jewelry." I'm like, "Well, thank God you're not sick."
That's
You know?
literally what she said. And I, you know, to back up anybody who doesn't know, I sold jewelry in her boutique and your boutique. And I don't know who I told first. I don't remember. I was so nervous about it. But I knew I had to like tell you because God wasn't going to let it go. And I mean, you both were incredible about it, obviously, but it was hard.
No, we're still mad that you don't have your earrings, but
Yeah, it's fine. Still haven't found an earring supplier to replace that. No.
I mean, I told Riley earlier, I'm like, we're going to pray and ask God if you can make cookies again to sell because they're so good.
It's true. I made her some over there.
They are so good.
Sure you can't sell
man.
She made me some for Christmas, and I was like, yes, I remember.
I know.
I
I
still
bake
make
sell
them.
fundraiser for the podcast. I don't know.
I mean, right?
Glorifying God.
Right.
Let's not put that out there.
She said no.
Yeah. I know that's
I
beside we're
loved
like
my
off
time
topic. I
baking.
know. And I love the jewelry. And I miss it. I still have all my stuff. I'm like, do I get rid of it? I've thought about it. I'm like, do I get rid of it and like clean up some of the mess? But I haven't. So, I mean,
Still hanging on.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that he even said like never again. Just
Maybe not now.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we get it. Like when you change things. So you, just for clarification for anyone out there, you have your skincare business, but you also do permanent jewelry and you have
Yes.
a boutique
Yes,
with
I have a
women's clothing
boutique,
and children's clothing. Tell us about what you do at Locally Loved, though, because it's a little different.
It is a little different.
Right?
So we have a shop on the east side of Evansville. It's called Locally Loved, and it has around 20 different small businesses we support kind of as a little hub. So there are a lot of people out there who want to start a business, and we know that's not easy. And so it gives an opportunity for them to showcase their items. A lot of them have those travel trailers, where they're doing shows and stuff. So it gives them a place to house their stuff. Yeah. And it's really cool to see all the talented things that different people do. Yeah. And, Kate's so cool about that. Like, I may have done an online clothing business like 13 years ago, but when she started hers, I wasn't like, oh, Kate, don't do an online clothing business. And then when I accidentally started doing what I'm doing, she's not like, oh, Randa, don't do it. Because we don't play that way. Like, we're like, yeah, you go, girl.
Right.
Like, and I'll help you.
Right.
There's room for everybody.
There is room for everybody.
Yes.
I remember before I said, do you care if this person who also makes shirts is at this thing? And she goes, please, like, I don't have time to do something for everybody. There's space for everybody.
Right.
But yeah, so we do
love that.
I have the permanent jewelry there, which is what got me started in it. And we support all the different entrepreneurs and Neora, the skincare business I do online that I have for 11 years now. And then we also have some property that I manage for vacations, which is fun.
Fun. Yeah, because you get to send people to like a beautiful place.
Yes.
Well, maybe not send them, but they get to go.
Yeah. I'm ready to go south now.
I was just thinking.
Right? Let's go now.
Yeah.
Yes. So both of you maybe accidentally stepped into some businesses.
Accidentally on purpose.
Like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
You mentioned it a little bit, how you have like a prayer wall, you can like talk with someone, but like, how do you, you're both believers. Like, is this something that you kind of overtly put out there in your business? How do you incorporate it if you do it all? And there are plenty of people who are like, I don't have to talk about it in my business. It's the way I run my business.
Right.
Like I,
Or
work
treat
with
the
integrity
employees.
and I treat my employees and treat my customers or whatever. Obviously that's beautiful. I just didn't know for you two if there was anything different. Like how do you incorporate your relationship with Christ into your business if you do?
I guess it can go anywhere from the music you play to the items you're selling. Of course, like you can have, Kate has beautiful sweatshirts with scripture on them. And, I have the prayer wall. But overall, when I look at Kate, I think, sister in Christ, daughter of the one true King, mother, all those things, that you're so, oh gosh, I'm getting upset.
We have tissues if you need them.
I'm fine. Anyway, clear it up. I'm fine. But it's like, who is Kate when you think of Kate? And I think that because of who she is, people know that. Or,
Yes.
And I know that that's the first thing that she wants people to know about her. Not like, yes, I just sell this Christian sweatshirt because it looks good. No, that's not it. But God put it on her heart to make that. And I think it can
I need him. I've told people before, it's almost like therapy for me. Like when I'm stitching, be the light. Like it's because I need that reminder too, or I just did that one. That's why that comes to mind. But also like screen printing, like it's a prayer every time you swipe that. You know, that sounds super cliche, but I absolutely sometimes, especially when things are hard, and things are hard, and the past couple of years have proved that things are hard, I'm like, we need to get some Christian stuff in here, because even stuff is a really loose word for that, but even just like every time you fold that when you sell one, or you know, the other people that maybe aren't believers or maybe don't know that scripture, or it opens, even if they don't open up to you and have that conversation right there with you, it has to make wheels turn. So I don't know if that really,
it's kind of like getting baptized every day. Okay. Like, okay.
just like that.
You mean just
Hear me
dunked
out.
underwater every
Hear me
day?
out.
You're
No,
being
no,
like
no, hear me
drowned
out.
every day?
So right now, conversation with my 15-year-old, and conversation with our daughters about their older brothers. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is so
they had this
sweet.
conversation the other night at our house. They're like, I'm worried about, our brothers one day when we go into the kingdom of heaven, will they be there? And my daughter is saying, well, Cruz loves Jesus. He believes in Jesus. He has Jesus in his heart, but Mom, he hasn't been baptized yet. And I'm like, well, baptism doesn't mean you're going to heaven or hell. Baptism is a symbol and showing the world, hey, I love Jesus. And back to my point of hear me out. I know my brain is really weird, but it's like showing the world every day the way you run your business and the things you have in there. Hey, this is a Christian business. I love Jesus. I'm not scared to shout it from the rooftops. Where if I was in medical sales and I'm going in and be like, let me tell you about these pediatric vaccines. These were made by Jesus. These were no. You know what I'm saying? Like that isn't really like. It didn't work that way in corporate America. Unfortunately, you don't really get to be who you are. TV news, did I ever get to be who I was? Absolutely not. Sometimes was I told to be the opposite of what I was, and compromised who I really was? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I really think more of owning a business where you put God at the front of it is just really how you treat people and how you act so they know who you are. And then they look to you for guidance maybe, or for that confidence to maybe do the same thing, or maybe they're looking for community. I have a couple who comes in our shop and they are just the sweetest people, and they come in every Saturday and they buy something, but they really are there for conversations with maybe my 80-year-old mom works in the shop. They started going to church with her. Okay.
Really?
They are there for conversations. They're not there to buy another candle, right? You meet people along the way, and like my sister said, whether you work the drive-through at a fast food station or you are the pastor of a church, you really, how you act and how you treat people can show Jesus. I am not always the best at it. Sometimes I don't show Jesus, and we all screw up every day, but...
Do you find too, I don't know if this fits in great here, but sometimes like I have to be stern, or I have to stand my ground, or especially, on certain things. And sometimes, because I like work in the back, so then I have a front and so sometimes I round that corner, and I have to know in my heart that I did what Jesus would want me to do, even though maybe it didn't feel like it at the time. Like it was really hard. Maybe I wasn't doing exactly what someone else thought I should be doing, but I have to sleep at night too. And, I have to know that what I did is what Jesus would expect of me.
Yeah.
Does that make
Have
sense?
those boundaries.
Yes,
Sure.
boundaries is a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it doesn't feel like lovey-dovey Christian, but I have to set my boundary too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Randa, you had touched on a little bit about in the corporate world how it's really easy to compromise your morals. Or, I've been in situations for sure in my past where it feels like a slow fade, and then you wake up and you're like, what in the world am I doing? Or what got me here? And it was those little bitty tiny choices. So if you guys ever in business ownership found yourself in that situation where maybe, things got tight one month and like, wait a second, this isn't my focus, and had to like shift it back. And what's that like?
For sure. I for sure have done that. What's that like? It's like a whole reset, or like, I really seem to like to pray to God for more sales. This is like a really
That's
common thing.
understandable. That is
Literally
understandable.
happened last week.
And I
the
think
weather
he
here's
probably is okay with that
think
too.
he
he likes to pour them in all at the same time.
Christmas.
And then, Christmas. That one the hard thing about Christmas is everything's due the same day.
Yeah.
So the rest of the year, everyone's deadlines are more fluid, but not for Christmas.
That's true.
So that's hard. And sometimes you get really caught in that materialistic Santa Claus society, and really all we really need to be focused on is the Jesus Christ society. So that's tough, especially when you're like so wrapped up in not nice customers, but then it's time to get ready for mass, Anyway, wait, I just lost my train of thought. Where's I going with that?
Getting caught up in
You were praying for sales.
You're praying for
Yeah.
sales.
So even like last week, like we were not very busy the week before, right? So I'm like, God, I don't know, but some extra sales would be really nice this week. We don't have any jobs, like outstanding large jobs. And then the next thing, we're making 100 hats for this guy, and I've been waiting on his order for 5 years, right? So literally, here it comes, and then like 30 shirts for this. I opened a pre-order for the local school that won regionals, and like bam, there's 90. Just okay. Thank you.
That's enough.
I mean, I don't want it to stop, but it's so funny. Then I literally told my husband, I'm like, I prayed for this, when I'm stressing out, but it's so real. And like, maybe I should have been praying a little more often for, you think I'd learn. I just don't learn. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, sometimes you feel selfish praying.
For sure.
Like
but I was
that
laying
are
in my
small.
bed like, man, I do not want to have another week like last week. So anyway.
Well, and he cares about it though. Like he's the provider. I've had to remind myself of that over and over the last little under a year. Like, no, God's my provider. Like, I don't have to resort to going back to what I did before when I know that's what he's not asking me to do. He'll provide. Might not be what I think it's going to look like. And it might require a lot of work.
Right.
Yeah.
That I was not prepared for.
For me, it's like the organization. Like, okay, we're going to do this job on Tuesday. Okay, I'll order all this. It'll be in Wednesday, Thursday. That part.
Yeah. Like the logistics of it all.
Is where I'm like, oh yeah, all at one time. Thank you very much. But it's all good.
But you make it work.
I always do. We still haven't missed a deadline.
See? I'm like, you make it work. I know.
We
That's
just
pretty
don't.
good. Miranda, have you had anything? Like,
I was just thinking, and this is kind of a lot different than that, because I agree with everything you said. I mean, sometimes you're like literally living on the prayers. This business is going to make it, right? And you got to put your faith that in the long haul of it, just business sense and Jesus sense, right? But last week, maybe it was last week, I called Lindsay. I'm like, you won't believe what came in this package, because I constantly think, and I'm sure you guys are with me on this, that little bitty things are trying to get at our children and their minds and their hearts, just from simply like you're in the car and a song comes on and we're like, we don't listen to this. And they're like, why? I'm like, because what goes in your ears goes in your mind, goes in your heart, comes out your mouth. Like, I've always said that. Well, now you see it sneak in other ways. Like, it might sneak in literature. It might sneak in, and even something I order from a wholesaler. Like, I got these, seems so innocent, cute little rolly backpacks.
They're really cute.
Suitcases that are like makeup cases.
Oh, fun.
I thought, how cute is that? I put them near the counter. People grab them, senseless buy, right, to give their grandkid or whatever. And it has a pen and a paper and what else is in there? Like chapstick holder, and a little piece of jewelry. But I always try to check everything out, because there's certain things, like, I can't stand, like, if something says, do what makes you happy. My kids know I don't like that statement, because if we all did what made us happy, world would be even more of a dumpster fire, right?
Right.
How we got where we are.
Or just different things that people might not think opened your family to that spiritual warfare. So in this sweet, cute little package thing of unicorn chapstick and whatnot, there are evil eye bracelets and there are crystals. And I don't know, like, how much everybody watching this has even, and at one point, even a couple of years ago, like, I would have been like, what's wrong with a crystal? What's wrong with an evil eye bracelet? But those things, really, look it up, right? After my sister came back from South America doing mission work, and she talks about the spiritual warfare and witchcraft and, going from the things you listen to things you watch, to the people you hang around with, to things that you might sell in your store. So what did I do? I took them all out, threw them in the trash can, because I don't want an evil
Right.
eye going out there. I don't want a crystal going out there. And no, as some 10-year-old who grabs a crystal necklace, putting her faith in a crystal and an evil eye, probably not. But I don't like it.
Yeah.
My kids always make fun of me because I just don't like it.
Do you find sometimes like suppliers that carry those items? I will just pop over. I'll just find a different supplier.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes I also think,
I mean, if you
what I should
notice
do
it.
instead is, this is what I should do. But instead I'll find a different supplier. But I want to be better about this. I just want to start praying for them because maybe they just don't know.
Right.
Because if you don't know, you don't know. Like, then when you start opening your eyes, you start putting all the pieces together of things that are coming after our children. Yeah. It may seem little, but it could be big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should do that too. I'll add that to my list of things to
Or
do.
just like when we were talking about Facebook earlier, sometimes you find people, you're like, oh, I just want to defriend, block, because I am so sick of whatever they're talking about that I don't agree with. Guilty, so do I. But then you think, well, maybe I'll just unfollow and then maybe if I focus on pointing the world towards Jesus and they'll happen to see that, not that, maybe you're going to change their mind, but instead of blocking, maybe unfollow and hope that you can somehow give a message of hope. I don't know. It's a tricky world out there. Mom ain't easy, and being a business owner isn't easy too.
No. Sometimes you get so inundated or overwhelmed with it that I'm like, ugh, just, But yeah, good thought.
So many things coming at us as moms, business owners. You constantly feel like you're screwing up.
Oh, yeah.
You constantly feel like you're telling your kids the wrong things. You're behind on life. You're busy. What does it boil down to? What really matters, and what we need to focus on. But we just get ourselves so busy and so down on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Well, and like with that, how do you keep the focus right? And how do you juggle or balance? I'm always like, I don't know that there's like a balance because things aren't going to be like equal.
Never a level balance.
There's not a
It's
level
always, like,
balance.
you're on
It is more of a juggling or like switching things around. Like,
Yeah.
Do you guys have practical things that you do? How do you, like, I'm more of like, we just wing things as we go.
Yeah. Let me know if you find out. I'm here for therapy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I have no answers, but obviously you both have a whole lot going on between family and business and
chickens,
just like chickens and bees and cows.
Chickens are like the lowest maintenance livestock. I want chickens. They're so easy.
I really want chickens.
They stink when it rains, but other than that, when it rains, it's so gross out there. But other than that, it's so easy. Bees are the next. They might even be easier.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I grew up on a chicken.
We could have a
farm.
whole
part of that.
She's like, I don't want anything to do.
We could have a whole podcast on
pets.
that.
Yeah, let's do one on chickens.
We don't kill our
I saw
chickens.
my mom.
We don't kill our chickens.
Oh my goodness.
They're all egg layers.
Well, yeah.
Well, we need some eggs right now.
I was going to say this is a good time to have chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you could,
Well, I do have that as a side business.
So you like sell.
We won't even go into how many LLCs I have. Anyways, that's beside the point.
Too many.
Do you have any practical things though that you do to juggle, or you just like figure it out? Like,
Practical?
I don't know. Like how do you? I have no answers, y'all. Riley probably has
I know
answers.
one practical thing that I use to juggle a busy life is delegating. And one thing that I have done since I've owned businesses is use Instacart.
Like just for your
seriously,
grocery shopping?
pray and thank God for those people because sometimes you just gotta, delegate and make cost a little bit more, but save you some sanity and the things that you don't like.
I used Instacart a lot when we had our fourth, but now I don't know what I do. I do pickups and tons of delivery, which my husband's UPS man, so they all cuss me, but it's fine because this is how I function. That's just where we are right now. But I did a Sam's pickup this week at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. I'm like the first customer of the day.
I just wish I would get better at saying no. I was thinking when I leave here, I've got to go do something else that's like due tomorrow. And it's a great cause. Like it's a charity event. It's fine. But in a big way, I wish I would have said no.
Yeah.
Because, I don't have time to do it. Right. Because I have all these different things going on. But it's hard to say no when it's something that's so good. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, my dad called me yesterday. It's so cute. He's like retired now, and so he'll like call if he knows I'm not busy. Like I'm off on Mondays, and so I was home. Anyways, it's so sweet. It's like a new thing for us. But anyways, and I was telling him about a committee that I thought I probably needed to join because I really need help, and he was like, Kate, I just feel like you're really busy, and I don't know if you need to be on another committee. And I was like, I know, Dad, but it's for the kids. And he's like, I know, Kate, but you have kids at home, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, so you saying like the saying no thing. I actually asked to be off of a committee not that long ago, and then they let me off, and then it's for the fire department. And so then they asked me to join another fire department committee. And I was like, well, that was a nice little 1 month off I had. I just can't say no.
I think I need to get better at pausing and saying, let me get back with you on that.
Yeah.
Taking that yes or no to Jesus.
Yep.
And
That's
that,
what I was going to say.
because a lot of times I'm really terrible at that. I was good at that one time recently. And it's
One
one
time
time recently.
One time recently.
And
Good
it's
job.
caused such an amazing thing to happen. I have to share it. It has nothing to do with business, but it has something to do with, well, I mean, it's like taking on another child. So we took on an exchange student. Nothing I ever wanted to do. Like I need one more thing to do, right?
Right.
Andy, my husband, was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, we have 2 dogs, we have 2 kids, we have sports, blah, 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 all the things. But something in my heart said, we saw another friend doing this. We need to do this too. And I happened to click on this one profile of this boy, and I could not get him off of my heart. Literally would cry about it and think, we need him. I don't know why. Maybe he needs us. We need him. I don't know. We've had the most incredible experience with him. He comes from a country where he, don't really celebrate Christmas, and everything is so exciting to him, and he has a good life and a good family at home, but his eyes are being opened to things here, in a Christian family that I'm praying will be life-changing for him. And, he gets to go to church with us, and he gets to be around a lot of people who love Jesus. And so maybe somebody he's never heard about before, now he has. So yeah, that was a good thing I took to Jesus and prayed about and got a lot of witness affirmations again. That's turned out great. The other day he said to me, because sometimes you think, oh gosh, I don't know if this is a good idea for him to be influenced by our family, and our kids are not. Sometimes they're acting rotten, right? But he said, when TikTok went away, I saw something that said, download the Bible app instead. He goes, I started reading that Bible app. It's really interesting. And, me looking at it in the church thinking, does he understand what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because I've been praying that there's a reason,
awesome.
a bigger reason why he's here.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's what I want it to be, right?
That's a big deal.
And that's kind of, off topic of what we're talking about. But, when you're juggling kids, business, life, whatever, and you're trying to say yes to another thing, like, we know better. Why don't we consult him first? Or something chaotic is going on in our life.
Right.
We complain about it on Facebook or to our moms if we're lucky enough to have our moms around, or our friends, instead of going to him.
Taking
like,
it to the Lord.
Yeah.
how many years is it going to take just to be like, that is your first stop?
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up having a papaw as a pastor and in church. And I think I've been told this a few times, but how long is it going to take for us to be, that's your first stop?
I had God tell me not that long ago, I was basically like complaining about how much I had to do. Like, there's not enough time, is what I kept telling myself, and like telling God, there's not enough time to do all of this. And he said, there is enough time for the things I've asked you to do. And I was like, rude. Like, rude. I know. Like, Riley says it a lot when I tell her things that I feel like God's told me. She's like, that's rude. I'm like, I know. Like, that's not very. But it's the truth. I'm like, if it is the things that he's asked me to do, there's enough time for it. If I'm adding in things that maybe he didn't give to me, then
that's when there's
when I probably need to look at that and ask him. But
it's tough to swallow.
It is tough to swallow. It's hard. Yeah. And if it is something he gave me, then I need to stop complaining and do it. You know, and use my time wisely, because that's another
I feel like God's
discipline that I'm working on.
God's never going to open your mind and heart to something that he wants you to do for him, and not, if you really put forth your full effort in that, for it to not be successful and to have a great outcome for your life on this earth too. Yeah.
It reminds me of something that my dad always used to say, still does, that was really annoying until I got it. But I would, as a teenager, I'd be like, oh, I have to go to work today. No, you get to. oh, I have to go do this. Nope, you get to.
Mm.
It's like, it's a privilege for what
Such a
God puts
good
in your path.
perspective.
And even owning a small business, like at first you're really excited, and
Mm-hmm.
then the people come, and then it gets a little,
Mm-hmm.
a lot sometimes. And then it's, you have to do it. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
no, you have to keep reframing. I get to do this because, like you said, it's your mission field. Like, even if you're in the drive-thru, or if you're in your store, or if you're embroidering a shirt, like that, somehow, some way, God can use that if you let Him to share His name a little further.
I love
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Thanks
Thanks thanks for sharing with us, guys.
Of course, you're welcome.
You love your
You guys were
wisdom and expertise.
I know, right? And you both have a lot of energy, like more than I have.
Well,
That's
I really
right.
thought
Oh
this
my
was
gosh,
a
I
therapy
don't know about
session
that.
for you guys to give us ideas, but
Yeah, sorry.
I know.
Riley probably has answers.
No,
and
I
I
think-
don't.
No.
you guys are great examples of that because you're doing this, and it's not like you all needed one more thing to do, right? And here you are, opening up your home. The time. I know time is precious.
What a
for
great
us all.
example of following discernment. Yeah, you're welcome.
We don't need any pats on the back, but these girls do. So
That's
if you want to go to
right,
Locally
right.
Loved and American Honey and
Yes,
go buy
if
all
you're
their
local,
stuff
Oh,
yeah, and we'll
thank
put
you.
their like
'Cause-
links
yeah.
or their Facebook pages.
We have a
or
lot of things
websites, whatever. Yeah,
from your stores.
yes,
Thanks.
we both do.
We love
Yeah.
you, girls.
We
Yeah.
love you. Thanks for talking to us
Of
today.
course.
Thanks for
You're
having
welcome.
us.
Before you go, please give this video a like and a comment. Let us know
Mhm.
any topics that you want us to cover in the
Yes.
future. Make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you get notified every Tuesday when we post a new episode. And until next time, grab a shield. We'll see you out there.
See ya.